if you're an expert in PR, you're an expert on the product, you're an expert on search, etc. How are these folks? Do you think that's all just going to get kind of s- smeared out horizontally, or is the opportunity for these anchor, for your skill set to get, accelerated and compounded by AI? How do you keep yourself on that side of the equation as opposed to the becoming obsolete side of the equation?
Yeah, I think a very good question. So part of it is just being interested and open and embracing AI and just getting into the mix. So that curiosity and that interest, I think, is really key because there's plenty of people who are and who may not know how it works or but just dive in. And there's so much out there on YouTube, and you can just ask the LLM questions if you don't understand it. So that learning capability is just wildly accelerated. So I think for the folks who do have that years of experience and domain expertise, I think sort of two things. One is that what was that book? It was on long tail, kind of the long tail opportunity,
Yeah,
where you had kind of your local store or even Walmart or whatever, and you were limited in what you can buy. But then Amazon comes along, and you've got a market and a niche for every or a product for everybody. So you've got just this explosion of stores and little tiny market segments and little tiny products that can serve each other, right?
yeah,
It happened with media as well. You had just a few traditional media networks like NBC or whatever. Now you have hundreds of thousands of YouTube channels, right? And some of them are really good and they serve a very distinct audience. I think the same thing will happen and is happening with apps because that barrier to entry has just disappeared. So if you're a plumber or a teacher, you can build your own app and you have that domain expertise. So maybe we have 20,000 or so SaaS companies. Why not have 200,000 AI apps or 500,000 AI apps? I think these different micro market segments can have very tailored solutions. And I think there's a real opportunity for the small business or the solopreneur to support those specific niches and just be a domain expert there. So you can really focus and be good in a particular area and take advantage of AI and LLM to take you to a whole nother level. I don't think the folks right out of school have to despair either, though. We were talking before the podcast. I found this forum, AI Tinkerers, and I'm on their newsletter. This lady in her 20s in Chicago, she's watching YouTube. She's in the forum with people, and she's playing with OpenClaw and doing these things that are just amazing, right? And she's just because she's dived in and gotten her hands dirty. So I think that barrier to entry and the
yeah.
learning has disappeared. So if
Barrier
you
to
have that
learning
interest, yeah,
when bringing AI into the go-to-market. So much of the engagement is, first of all, a lot of this being driven by the wrong outside, not the kind of outside where you're focused on your customers, your prospects, and your outcomes,
right.
but to your point, align the board. It's like, all right, I got to tell the board what we're doing about AI. And so you're kind of, you start by solving the wrong problem, right? And then secondly, you don't really, if you've got, it's like any era of automation. If you've got screwed up subpar processes and you automate them, all you do is tangle things up faster, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
tighter,
Yep.
and now you spend the time to
You can go in the wrong
untangle
direction
that
really
knot.
fast, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You hit the wall, you hit the wall
Yeah.
faster, right? But there's such an opportunity with AI in particular, is to kind of take that, to kind of use it for like as anti-lock brakes or stability control. Like let the machine kind of keep you stable, and then send the signals to your dashboard about where better to steer. And I just find so many folks are still sort of they just don't have their heads up yet about the the signals and answers that can be unlocked once you get a good process, a strong market fit, um, a clear view of uh, your target customer, ideal customers, et cetera, in place. And they kind of use it as just sort of a sauce. AI is a sauce they're pouring over stuff that they really haven't figured out in the first place. AI is not going to figure that out for you.
No, and your experience and judgment still matter. I mean, just a very simple example that a lot of content marketers have run into is you see the default tone is all that terrible marketing and sales pitch and collateral stuff. It's like most companies just do this, and it's horrible copy, right? It's what is covering like 80% of the internet that the LLMs have learned from. So
Right.
being able to get a authentic voice out that resonates with your audience absolutely requires some AI tuning and some judgment and experience from somebody who knows how to connect with their audience.